Welcome to Utica TV Overtime. I'm James Brown.
And I'm Corinne Bush. Before we get started, we would like to thank Spectrum for their fast internet service and for helping make Utica TV Overtime possible. To sign up for Spectrum internet or mobile service, please call 1-800-831-1547 or use the QR code shown. Tell them Utica TV sent you.
Now let's get into the action. The Utica Pioneers men's lacrosse team played their first home match of the season last Wednesday evening as they faced off against SUNY Potsdam. The Potsdam Bears got off to a hot start as scored 6 unanswered goals in the first quarter, but Utica's John Spoto would score the first goal for the Pioneers with just over 4 minutes to go, marking it 6-1 Potsdam at the end of the first. Heading into the second, Spoto would put up a second goal towards the end of the quarter, but Potsdam would put up 2 goals of their own, and they would go into the half up 8-2. The Pioneers would be unable to score in the third quarter, but not without getting 11 shots on goal in total in the second half as they peppered Potsdam's nets with shots. In the fourth quarter, Utica's Colin Musso was able to get his first collegiate goal with 13 seconds remaining. The Pioneers would ultimately fall to the Bears 13-3.
The Utica Pioneers men's basketball team went up against Trinity College in the first round of the NCAA Division III tournament on Friday evening. Early on in the first half, we saw a good defensive game as with 12 minutes to go, the Pioneers were tied with Trinity at 10. The Pioneers continued to battle back every time Trinity got a bucket, but towards the back half of the first, Trinity went on a run flourished by an ample amount of threes and good defense, and they took a 13-point lead into halftime. The Pioneers got the deficit down to 12 points in the second half, but ultimately Trinity got hot as they put up 48 points en route to an 83-54 win against the Pioneers, knocking them out of the NCAA Division III tournament. Congrats on a great season, men.
The men's and women's indoor track and field teams competed in the AAR TFC Championships on Friday, March 1st and Saturday, March 2nd. On day one, the men's team had some standout performances from Hunter Logan, who took third place in the throws with a 13.34 meter toss. The men's distance medley team of Anthony Leota, Tristan Vargo, Tobias Geralds, and Bennett Maylita took sixth place. The women's team on day one saw Jane Fay took first with a 14.63 meter toss in the throws, and we saw the 400 by 4 team take second place overall thanks to Mackenzie Mix, Janaya Cruz Bermudez, Abrina Wadley, and Ariana McClendon. On day two, the men's team saw Bennett Maylita place seventh in the 3,000 meter with a time of just over 8 minutes and 30 seconds. The Pioneers also had success in the weight throw competition with Antoine Kelly, Justin Swaverly, and Spencer Borghardt all placing well in the event. The men's team placed 11th overall out of over 50 schools competing. For the women's team, we had the 4x200 meter team place second overall with a time of 1 minute and 45 seconds as they took second place with the same team who ran the 400 by 4 the day prior. Nora Devitt also had the second best triple jump in program history at 11.67 meters. The women's team placed fourth overall out of over 50 teams competing.
The Utica women's hockey team traveled to Rochester for the UCHC championship game this past Saturday afternoon. Both teams had numerous goal-scoring opportunities, but goaltenders Angela Hawthorne and McKinley Hoff were sharp between the pipes to open up the game. Hawthorne even rejected a Golden Flyer breakaway just 5 minutes into the game. But Nazareth would end up finding the back of the net first late into the power play that saw Nazareth fire 4 shots before scoring a slap shot right past Hawthorne's shoulder. 1-0 Nazareth going into the second. The Pioneers held an 11-10 shot advantage over the Golden Flyers and continued to apply consistent pressure in the attacking zone. With just 7.5 minutes to go in the period, Haley Maudlin scored the tying goal off an assist from Carolyn Whitney. It was anyone's game going into the third frame. The first 4 minutes were electric, constant pressure in each attacking zone, save after save from both Hawthorne and McKinley, until Kaylee McLaughlin was sent to the box for hooking. The Golden Flyers would fire 6 shots on the power play, 5 of which were either wide or blocked by an outstanding Angela Hawthorne, but the 6th shot would sneak past her and at the 4.5 minute mark to give Nazareth the 2-1 lead in Rochester. The Golden Flyers would sit back and absorb the 17 shots the Pioneers would fire in the remaining minutes, while Angela Hawthorne would save the 4 shots that came her way. The relentless effort in the dying minutes by Utica would ultimately not be enough, and the Nazareth Golden Flyers would win the UCHC championship game. We are so proud of our ladies at the Utica University, and congrats on a successful season.
The number 2 Utica men's ice hockey team faced off against Stevenson University Saturday night in the UCHC championship game at the Adirondack Bank Center. The game began quietly, with each team only firing a handful of shots on target through the first 7 minutes. Quickly, though, Utica forced a turnover in the neutral zone, and some beautiful puck movement in the attacking zone led to Eric Vitale goal. The feeds came from Kimball Johnson and Preston Brighton. It was 1-0 Utica in the neutral zone battle through the first. With about 2 minutes to go, Stevenson was on the power play. In a 3-1 situation after a long possession of control in the attacking zone, Stevenson capitalized on a backdoor pass to head into the second period all tied up. The second period started just as the Pioneers wanted. Griffin Barr hit a one-time slap shot from the blue line just 37 seconds into the period to give Utica the lead and the momentum in the period. From here on, Utica controlled the game and began to rack up shots on goal, while Stevenson stayed relatively quiet in the attacking zone. The Pioneers got a power play opportunity at the 13.36 mark, where they saw Jacob Breaux put a rebound off an assist from Kimball Johnson and Drake Morris. 3-1 Utica headed into the final period. Control stayed in Utica's favor through the initial minutes of the period. The Stevenson goaltender had a handful to deal with up until this point and continued making massive saves to give Stevenson a bit of momentum to go on to score a rebound into the back of the net at the 10-minute mark. Stevenson was now well alive in the UCHC championship. Utica continued to dominate on the shot counter, and the goaltender Ethan Roberts made massive saves down the stretch to keep the lead. Ultimately, Roberts and company would hold on, and the gloves would go flying on the ice in the Pioneers' favor for the 3rd straight year. The UCHC championship is beginning to like Utica, New York. The Pioneers earned themselves a ticket to the NCAA tournament on Saturday, March 16th against the winner of Plymouth State and Cortland. Good luck in the tourney, boys, and congratulations.
The Utica Pioneers men's lacrosse team took on Hamilton College yesterday evening. Coming off of a big win on the road against Wilkes University, the Pioneers were looking to get a winning streak going with a win against Hamilton College. In this one, Utica had 4 players with at least 1 shot on goal and a total of 19 shots. The Pioneers also had 17 ground balls and caused 9 turnovers against Hamilton. In the scoring department, Sam Serrano had a great goal after a fantastic assist from Connor Constantia. Serrano's goal extends his point streak to 13 straight games, dating back to last season. The Pioneers would score the 1 goal, but were not able to get another one on the board as they fell to Hamilton 22-1.
Looking ahead to next week, the Utica Pioneers gymnastics teams will be competing in the National Collegiate Gymnastics Association East Region on Saturday at 1 p.m. This will take place in Ithaca and will be the first time that Utica is competing in this tournament. Good luck.
The Utica Pioneers women's track and field team will be competing in the NCAA Division III Indoor Championship on Saturday, March 9th in Virginia Beach. The event is set to begin at 2:30 p.m. and will be live streamed on the NCAA's website.
And that's all the Utica sports we have for you this week.
Be sure to follow us on social media at UticaUTV on Instagram and visit our website at uticautv.org.
Thank you so much for watching, and always remember to fear the moose.